there, and welcome back to Weird Soda for Life. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Super Pop. Ah? Ah? You get it. Anyway, welcome back. We are in week 2 of you guessed it, our 2-week new Faygo Sodas experience. And today we are trying Faygo Super Pop. Now, you may be asking yourself, why did you open up the video with a Superman reference? For those of you who live in Michigan or are familiar with Michigander culture, Michigoose, I don't know. There's a particular brand of ice cream that started here in Michigan called, you guessed it, Superman ice cream. And I'm going to tell you right now, finding the origin story on this was a hot mess. I'm not sure what origin story I believe, but I'm going to try to give you what I know. And then, of course, after that, we're going to get to the good stuff, which is trying the ice cream flavored soda, ideally. Um, but let's talk a little bit about it. So, first things first, did you know, you probably didn't, but did you know that cookies and cream is the most searched ice cream in America, or at least it was about 5 years ago, except in Michigan. Like it's overarching the country. Cookies and cream ice cream is the most researched ice cream. Chocolate is also a heavy favorite, but when they broke it down by state, Michigan was the only one that had Superman ice cream in first place. Now, when we talk about Superman ice cream, the first question is, well, why is it called that? Especially when you could look at the bottle, you can see it's a very distinct blue. Superman ice cream, when you see it, is a swirl of blue, red, and yellow. So it feels like I don't have to draw you all the way to the connecting all the dots, but I will anyway because that's who I am as a person. Um, but yes, the white, and blue, the red, yellow, and blue is reminiscent of Superman's outfit. Now, there's a well, not huge, but there's somewhat of a debate that discusses when Superman ice cream was created. Now, most sources agree that the creator of the ice cream itself was Stroh's. Now, those of you who drink, uh, well, beer, know Stroh's primarily as a beer. Well, a brewery. But of course, during you guessed it, Prohibition, our favorite innovative season, as you've just seen from all the years we've tried different weird sodas. During Prohibition, of course, Stroh's was not able to brew. So they had to find something to keep them going. And just like several other breweries, they decided to lean on ice cream. And so they create this flavor. And here's where it gets muddled. That's one origin story. For those of you who can do math, Prohibition started in the 20s. Now, Superman wasn't released first until 1938. In fact, the date that this video releases, which is April 18th is Superman Day. A fact brought to me by Mr. Weird. um, but yeah, April 18th, 1938 was the release of Action Comics number 1, in which Superman debuts. 1938 is not 1920s, guys. I don't want to shock you. But so we have that. And that's not to say that people can't make ice cream and then name it after something later when something else becomes reminiscent, right? But I kind of feel like Clue. No, here's what really happened. Do, 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 do. But another origin story has it starting in 1941, still with Stroh's, but the ice cream being created in honor of Superman. But a third origin story, again with Stroh's, has it starting in 1947. Now, there seems to be, out of all the three, I'm not quite sure what I lean on. I'm willing to concede, perhaps, that the flavors that made up Superman ice cream, which we will get into in a hot second, may have been originated in the 1920s, but some of the cultural things that are happening in ice cream around the 1940s leads me to believe that even if the flavors were created in the 20s, the Superman ice cream as we think of it today was not really solidified till the 1940s. Um, But let's talk a little bit about that. So, let's talk about Superman very, very briefly. Again, he releases in 1938, and then a little thing, as you know, called World War II happens. Post World War II, you see Superman escalating in popularity. There's the radio serials in the 40s, the movie serials in 1948. Um, so, like, he's kind of cultural zeitgeist at this point. You also need to think about the colors that I described before: red, yellow, and blue. Those are very distinct, strong colors. Um, Guys in the 1920s weren't really rocking that. They probably more than likely may have gotten some post-war, in the post-World War II, food dyes start coming back, more chemicals start coming back, and I suspect that's probably where it gets its color. Um, so I have to admit, after doing all of this research, my operating theory is that the foundational flavors of Superman ice cream were in the 20s, and I'm willing to concede that there was ice cream in the 20s that was made of what we would call Superman flavors, but the color scheme that really like tied it all together wasn't created until the 40s. Now, but of course, I have nothing really to prove for that. But I keep talking about the flavors, right? So Superman ice cream is made of three distinct flavors and with its three distinct colors. So the yellow is either vanilla or lemon because again, we cannot figure out what the distinct flavor is. And there's so many variations of Superman flavor ice cream throughout Michigan and the Midwest um, that there's not really one pin downable mix, relatively speaking. But the yellow is often vanilla or lemon. The red is often either strawberry or what is also called red pop. Now, Faygo puts out a red pop, and it's just a strawberry soda. But you don't want to get those confused. If you say it's strawberry ice cream, people are going to get mad. So you want to say that it's red pop. And finally, the last flavor is Blue Moon ice cream. Nobody can identify what Blue Moon ice cream is. I mean, like, truly, it is an ice cream mystery for the ages. There are debates all online of what Blue Moon ice cream actually is. The best way I can describe it, if I'm thinking about a distinct flavor, is it kind of tastes like marshmallows or um, like Fruit Loops, maybe? Milk, maybe? But it's like this nondescript, sweet flavor. I'm very helpful. Um, but all three of those combine and to make one like uber flavor, right? Um, anyway, by the 50s, it takes off. Other ice cream creameries are making it, and it kind of spreads all over. Which brings us to now. The weird thing about having a soda based off of flavor that has such a unique history is that there's not really a lot of pinpointy things. But what I can tell you is that, again, home based in Michigan, everybody agrees that Michigan is the place where it originated. And Faygo, as you know from several of our videos, is very Detroit centric, right? Along with Stroh's. So it makes complete sense to me why they would be like, what is pure Michigan? TM, TM, TM. Um, Faygo and Superman ice cream. Now let's take a look at the bottle. Again, like last week's Faygo Bubble Pop, I kind of like the simplicity of the logo. It's got all three colors. You can see the little cape. But yeah, I think it's a really cool little design. Kudos again, Faygo. And now, let's see what we're getting into. Oh, I can smell that from here. I didn't even open the bottle all the way. Okay. Um. Hmm. Okay. It does smell a little marshmallowy, but I actually think instead of the vanilla, which here's the issue with vanilla and marshmallowy flavors is sometimes when you smell them, they kind of smell very similar. But I think what they have done is that obviously they've honored the Blue Moon flavor, but they've actually, instead of doing vanilla, I think they went with the lemon because it smells a little citrusy, but maybe my nose is off. But let's find out. Bottoms up. Yeah, that's Superman ice cream. uh, I kind of had to sit with that for a second. It's a little weird when you think about ice cream as a flavor. It's just like last week where I was like, cool, I'm drinking bubble gum. What a weird sensation this is. Um, yeah, that tastes like Superman ice cream. I think Faygo has it right here. Again, I really kind of think that they really, not, I keep saying really, they did go with the lemon variant, I think. It feel like there is a slight hint of citrus in that. But I can also taste, funnily enough, as I said before, Faygo made Red Pop. I can taste the Red Pop, which is a slightly different flavor than like a Fanta strawberry, for example. Um, and then, of course, I taste the Blue Moon, which, again, in this scenario, I would equate to being more marshmallowy in flavor. Uh, I know it's funny to me when I think about it because, of course, Fago would nail the red pop flavor because they make it. Um, and I think in this scenario, they probably went a little bit more citrusy, probably to cut through all that sweetness because we've talked about Fago's sweetness before. I don't know if they completely succeed, but it's ice cream, guys. Like, it's supposed to, like, be super sweet. So this is one of those rare moments where I'm telling you it is quite sweet, but I'm okay with it because it honors the flavor of the ice cream. Superman ice cream is quite sweet. Um, I don't know if people are going to get this in their neck of the woods that aren't Midwest or Midwest adjacent, but if you do, I would say between the bubblegum pop one and or bubble pop and the super pop, I would probably go with the super pop over the bubble pop, only because in this case the overwhelming sweetness of Fago's like mix really works with it. Um, what a journey we're on! And again, it's food. It tastes like the food, and in this case, it's quite good. Um, kudos to you, Fago. I mean, the Juggalos must be onto something. um, Next week we are pivoting away from the Fago clan to look at Sprite. If you recall, last year we tried this Sprite Chill. If you recall, it was a cherry flavor and it's supposed to be cooling in your mouth, and I found it to be not so cooling in my mouth. Well, they've released another variant. I thought that they were just going to be done with the cherry, which I will admit, months afterwards kind of grew on me. Again, not necessarily for the cooling aspect that wasn't really cool, but for the flavor itself. So they have released a Sprite Chill Strawberry Kiwi. And I'm really interested to see how that plays out, especially with the lemon lime of Sprite. So until next time, drink weird and don't pull on Superman's cape. Don't spit into the wind. Don't mess around with the old Lone Ranger. And also, what are you doing with those people? It is past midnight. Go to bed. See you next time.